Tonight, sizzling Scotland. Temperatures top almost 30 degrees as people enjoy the sun and hit the beach.
No, bring it on. Keep it going. It's better than the rain.
It was sweaty, it was difficult, but no, it was fun.
It's just lovely. Yeah, I just think it's that freedom, just a space, and yeah, being out in the sunshine.
Also making the headlines, the Iran conflict. Scots Iranians say their hearts are broken and they're worried about loved ones back home. Dunoon echoes to the sound of rally cars as the Argyle Stages brings motorsport and money to the town.
And ready for kick-off, we'll reveal who's facing who as the dates and fixtures for the new Premiership season are announced.
I'm John Mackay. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. Scotland is sizzling in some of the hottest temperatures we've seen in years. Glasgow topped 27 degrees, while in the east, Edinburgh reached 28 centigrade. The hottest spot so far, though, is Drumnadrochid, where the mercury got up to a scorching 29. Our senior reporter, Gordon Cree, is on the beach tonight, and Gordon, the Firth of Forth looks more like Florida.
Well, I don't know about Florida, John, but a few weeks ago when I was reporting from the south of Spain, the temperature hit 31 degrees, and remarkably, we're not far off that today. The average temperature in Scotland at this time of year is 17 degrees, which for most of us is a pretty warm day. But as you say, today, Edinburgh, 28.1 degrees. Now down here at Portobello, it's a little cooler with the sea air, but very pleasant. For most of us, something to enjoy. For others, though, a cause for concern. Here's the story of Scotland's hottest day of the year so far from my colleague, Caitlin Hutchison.
It's sun's out, guns out at Elmcroft Nursery in Glasgow, making the most of the sunshine with their mini Highland Games. But safety always comes first. Can you tell me all the things that you need to do when it's a hot sunny day?
Put a hat on and put sunscreen on and drip flutter. I got the new hat.
You got a new hat? When did you get that?
Any shops?
You got any slushes left on this warm day? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers.
We're an indoor-outdoor nursery, so we take great pride in our outdoors and we spend the majority of our time outside. And then on again, a day like today where we've got the glorious sunshine, it's the sun cream, sun hats, cold water stations, and we've even got an ice lolly stand today.
As the kids cool down, things are hotting up here as people head out to enjoy the sunshine.
You know it's going to be chaos, pretty much. From as soon as you open the doors at midday to when we shut at midnight, it pretty much doubles what the takings every day. So it is very good for business indeed.
We were playing tennis actually at the tennis courts over there earlier.
Sorry, tennis in this heat though, how?
It was sweaty, it was difficult.
We're all medics, just revising for our exams.
Is this the revision session?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it going well?
There's a lot of sunbathing going
on.
The only issue is that the toilet is far away, but what can you do?
It is quite hot today. I'm like sweating. And I'm like, but no, bring it on. Keep it going. It's better than the rain.
This is now officially the hottest day of the year so far, but with the hot weather comes warnings. The warning that the heat is no longer just the occasional summer holiday perk, but now a growing public health risk.
There is an increased risk of heart attacks or strokes with the hot weather. Swimming, particularly if you're feeling very hot, make sure you do not jump into cold lakes because you can get cold water shock or there are strong currents.
In South Queensferry near Edinburgh, this was the picture today, where temperatures reached a toasty 28 degrees.
Normally, we don't say the word hot in our forecasts. We tend to say warm, but today has definitely been a hot one. Make the most of that, though, through the first half of the weekend, as come Sunday, it's all change once again. It's turning cooler and fresher, and we'll be seeing some spells of rain, unfortunately.
As Scotland sizzles, the message is clear. We need to think smart, stay safe and savour the sunshine while it lasts. Caitlin Hutchison, STV News.
Well, back to Gordon now. And Gordon, people are having a great night by the beach in Portobello.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen thousands of people here throughout the day. Some of them have been cracking open the barbecue, others just enjoying the sun. You know, it doesn't take much of sunshine for people in Scotland to get their taps off and head to the beach, and we've been talking to some of them about that enduring appeal of the seaside.
Well, I've come up from Plymouth, so come up for a holiday, so 8.5 hours on the train to come to Edinburgh for a week.
And you knew the weather was going to be like this?
No, it's just, well, just lucky really, come up to see family.
It's always a good break to get away from that kind of gloomy winter weather, so it's absolutely amazing for me, especially coming from the tropics. This is the kind of weather I crave.
I think we should enjoy it because there's never much of a time where it's this hot, and like the whole of Edinburgh is at the beach.
The health warnings we held earlier, there's also concerns about food poisoning from the barbecues, the risks of going in the sea, of course, and here at Portobello, concern too about antisocial behaviour. They've seen some of that recently, the potent combination of hot weather and booze. Certainly the police and local residents hoping everyone keeps the cool in the extreme heat. John.
Gordon on Portobello Beach, thank you. And of course, Philip will be here with a full weekend weather forecast later in the programme. To the rest of the day's news, and Scots Iranians say their hearts are broken and they're worried about loved ones in the country. There have been airstrikes in Iran's capital after it launched missiles last week into Israel. Iran is supporting Palestine in the war in Gaza, but now there are fears for civilians in Iran. It comes as UK and global leaders claim there is an opportunity diplomatically to solve the escalating conflict. Vanessa Taff reports.
Malika is training for the Olympics and will compete as a judo player. But this wasn't always her plan. She was a wrestler in Iran, but was criticised by the government.
My heart is with Israel children. My heart is children of Iran. My heart is with children of Palestine. I want peace for everyone. Everyone deserves peace. Iran is part of my life. They are not in a safe place. They are under bombs. They don't know when and where Israel bomb might fall on their head. I'm looking for a bright future for Iran with a new leader, with a new opportunity.
The situation and airstrikes are at the forefront of the Scottish-Iranian community's minds.
Very few people are upset because of the government and the key people that are being targeted. People are upset because of infrastructures and civilians. So we need to distinguish between those two. Iranian community in Scotland in general, they are quite happy that this is happening and they are targeting the government figures, but they are not happy that civilians are being targeted.
Figuring out the next move and waiting for news of loved ones is a source of worry. Layla's father in Iran was due to fly out from an airport that was destroyed in a bombing.
It's a stressful times. It's quite tricky to even be able to communicate with them because the internet's down, the landline's down. I spoke to my cousin on Tuesday, for example, and their house where it's based, the bombing was literally just 5 minutes away from where she and her family live. So it's very close, but at the same time very far, and you feel like you feel quite helpless.
As world leaders try to bring about a peaceful resolution, some feel it's a situation they and their families have faced before.
They've gone through another similar war, another foreign aggressor backed by the West coming and bombarding and killing. So the Iran-Iraq war. I remember that as all of my childhood. So for us, it's déjà vu. It's the same thing all over again.
All Iranians in Scotland can do is dream of a better, safer future for their home country. Vanessa Taff, STV News.
Fergus Ewing is to stand as an independent candidate in next year's Holyrood elections. The SNP MSP says the party has turned its back on the people of Scotland.
To win independence, you have to have majority support. You have to have trust and confidence from a clear majority. You do not want a divided country. And I'm afraid what we have at the moment is a divided country.
Our political correspondent Ewan Petrie joins us. Ewan, was this a surprise decision by Fergus Ewing?
No, it's not a huge surprise. He has been hinting at this ever since making that announcement he wouldn't be standing for the SNP back in March. He has been something of a thorn in the side of the party in recent years. In fact, you could say he's been a full bed of roses in their side, given the number of issues that he has been disagreeing with them on. The Ewing name, of course, is steeped in SNP history. Fergus Ewing has been an MSP since the start of devolution. He was a government minister for 14 years, but now he's decided to ditch the party. He'll be sitting as an independent backbencher for the rest of this parliamentary term. And next year, he'll be taking on the SNP head-to-head in what will be a fascinating battle. The risk for the SNP is that this splits their vote and another party squeezes in through the middle. So the Fergus Ewing headache for the SNP looks set to continue for some time yet.
Ewan, thank you. Stagecoach bus strikes in the West are off after drivers accepted an improved pay offer from the company. Unite say members backed an 11.5% increase. The deal, backdated to January, will see the basic hourly rate rise from £13 to £14. A football fan who threw a Buckfast bottle at the Celtic goalkeeper Vil Sinisalo has been jailed for 8 months. Andrew Watt threw the bottle at the Finnish goalkeeper during an Old Firm match last month. Watt has also been banned from matches for 6.5 years. The funeral of a 16-year-old boy who died after being stabbed in Ayrshire has taken place. Caden Moy died in hospital after being found seriously injured on Irvine Beach a month ago. Family and friends gathered at Lynn Crematorium for this morning's service. 2 17-year-olds and a 14-year-old have been charged with Caden's murder. The Pride of Scotland Awards are on Monday, and among this year's winners is 7-year-old Theo Hardy, picking up the Young Fundraiser title after raising thousands of pounds to help his wee brother Jude, who was born with spina bifida. Laura Boyd went along to meet him.
7-year-old Theo Hardy has gone the extra mile, quite literally, to ensure his younger brother Jude, who was born with spina bifida, can play outdoors.
50 or 50. Let's go.
He's walked and cycled hundreds of miles to give Jude a very special gift that's meant, despite having limited use of his legs,
What's that?
the 3-year-old can have plenty of outdoors fun.
So I decided to get Jude a wheelchair so that he could come with us and, you know, just be with me and Nico moving around. I felt bad because he didn't get to join in as much stuff, so I thought I'll go for that wheelchair to have fun.
Oh my goodness! Theo started raising money for spina bifida hydrocephalus charity when he was 5. He decided he was going to run 100 miles, and then when he was 6 he raised more money by cycling 100 miles to raise money for Jude here for a wheelchair because he wasn't eligible at the time for a wheelchair in the NHS.
Not only a hero to his family, now Theo is set to be named Young Fundraiser of the Year at the star-studded Pride of Scotland Awards on Monday night.
I was like, how did I win this? Because loads of people voted for me to do it, and I said thank you so much for voting me, because they're the whole reason I won this.
What an achievement for him to get at age 7. But when we got that phone call, I was crying. I was just so overwhelmed and so delighted that he's been recognised for the things that he's done.
And far from resting on his fundraising laurels, Theo is on a new mission.
He wants to get Jude it's like a bicycle but a trike, so a kind of hand push thing. So again, so they can both go out on their bikes together.
Jude, is Theo an amazing big brother? Yeah. And what's he done for you?
Get a bike.
Help you get a bike.
It'll mean that I can, you know, just have him next to me, and at all times I can not be afraid, and I can always just be with Jude and not be alone.
That's a big brother anyone would be proud to have. Laura Boyd, STV News, Falkirk.
In around an hour's time, the first car will roar through the centre of Dunoon as part of the Argyle Stages rally that's taking place this weekend. The motorsports event sees competition across stages in the town and closed local roads. We sent petrol head Ollie Dickinson for a look.
This is the Dunoon many of us will know and recognise, a quiet town on the Clyde. But that peace is about to be spectacularly shattered by the arrival of the Argyle Rally. A closed roads event, it will see around 100 cars take to the roads in the town, competing to be crowned the winners come Saturday night.
Done the recce yesterday and the stages look very tricky, but fingers crossed it all goes well. And when you're driving them down the stages, and especially in the town, and you see all the people, it's crazy. The feeling that goes through your body is mental, but can't wait, so looking forward to it.
Usually when we're out on the stages, people are waving, you know, it's really well received. I try not to think about that. I mean, my job, I've got a set of notes in front of me. I've got to get my driver and the car round in one piece.
Because it is local, it's always, I'm usually working on the Friday, so I'm always hearing the cars. It's nice to actually be a part of it now.
It's a sport, though, that isn't just about driving fast. Rallying is a real test of teamwork. Each car carries 2 people, a driver responsible for keeping the car on the road, and a navigator or co-driver who tells the driver what's coming next in a special language called pace notes.
So what we have here is the pace notes for the Fernick stage of the Argyle Rally. So we'll have the stage start, then we go right 2, into, right 1, in over crest, C60. Teamwork is vitally important. The driver's relying on me telling him the description of the road ahead. So that helps him pick his speed, gear, braking points.
Some here will be targeting victory. This is a round of a number of top British championships, but for husband and wife team Jen and David, it's about enjoying their local event.
The reaction from the local community has been amazing. They've been really good, really supportive. Each year that we've done it, it's just made it that much more special.
Behind the sounds, smells and stories, organisers say the event brings a significant economic benefit to the local area.
Every year the event has got bigger and bigger. We introduced a town stage 3-4 years ago, and it's just a magnificent spectacle at night on the Friday night of the rally. But you know, most importantly, it brings huge economic benefit to the area. This event will bring close to, if not more than £500,000 worth of economic impact to the area, and that can't be underestimated.
The first car will roar off the start line as the Argyle Stages gets underway at around 7:30 tonight. Ollie Dickinson, STV News, Dunoon.
OK, Ronnie.
Did you know, I've got a joke, folks. Did you know that the Pink Panther is from Dunoon?
No.
Dunoon. Dunoon.
Oh, no.
Let's start with the sport.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
He's followed off his chair laughing there. Good evening. It's the day many football fans have been circling in their calendar, Premiership Fixture Day, where the schedule for the new season gets unveiled. The opening weekend starting on the 2nd of August, and it's thrown up a fantastic first round of matches. Let's start with the champion Celtic, who will unfurl the flag at home to St Mirren on Sunday the 3rd of August with a kick-off time at 4:30. Brendan Rodgers' men looking to make it 5 in a row this season, while Stephen Robinson's men aiming for their 4th consecutive top 6 finish. It's all change in the dugouts at Motherwell and Rangers as Russell Martin takes his side to Fir Park on Saturday at 5:30. Jean-Bel Esco's first game in charge of the Steelmen coming up against his former Norwich teammate. Newly promoted Livingston will see their first game back in the top flight away to Kilmarnock on Saturday at 3 p.m. Kelly under new management, of course, with Stuart Kettlewell at the helm coming up against David Martindale. Fellow Premiership new boys Falkirk have their opening game at home as John McGlynn's men welcome Dundee United on Sunday the 3rd at 2 p.m. Jim Goodwin's men finishing 4th last season. David Gray takes his Hibs side to the City of Discovery to face Dundee on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Former Hearts captain Stephen Presley in the opposition dugout. It was a 3rd placed finish for Hibs last season. What will this new season have in store? And rounding off the weekend, a blockbuster match-up in the capital. Derek McInnes in his first match in charge of Hearts, welcoming his former side and current Scottish Cup holders Aberdeen to Tynecastle. That match taking place on Monday the 4th of August at 8 p.m. But let's also take a look at the derbies, starting with the Old Firm. Russell Martin and Brendan Rodgers will lock horns on the 31st of August at Ibrox before Celtic Park in the New Year's fixture. Then the third game later in February. The first Edinburgh derby for Derek McInnes will be at home as Hibs come calling on October the 4th. Easter Road playing host to the second fixture at the end of December before the third derby in Gorgie in mid-February. Well, with the new season looming, former Celtic star Charlie Mulgrew believes the champions' disappointing finish to last season will be motivating them throughout the summer. Meanwhile, Russell Martin has been back to have the character to cope with the expectations at Rangers. And Derek McInnes' summer transfer plans at Hearts are falling into shape, as Jamie Bothwick can now explain.
He was no stranger to success during 6 years in the green and white of Celtic. But Charlie Mulgrew also knows just how difficult it is to win the treble. After the champions were denied another clean sweep of domestic silverware in May, he believes that penalty shootout pain will be fueling Brendan Rodgers' men this summer.
I think that cup final will leave a kind of bitter taste in their mouth, and they'll be thinking when they get back at it, and it's a disappointing end to the season. Although it was a great season when you look back, it's hard to kind of criticise when you look at how good the Champions League campaign was, the league campaign. Trebles have become such a regular thing, kind of thanks to Brendan Rodgers and the way Celtic have been recently.
It's all change at Rangers, and Stephen Naismith knows the new head coach better than most. The pressure is on Russell Martin from day one, but Naismith believes he has the tools to cope with the thirst for success at Ibrox.
I've said a few times, Russ's communication skills and leadership skills are probably the highest things for him. And he's shown in the 3 clubs he's managed that he can produce, he can make teams better. I think coming up to Rangers is definitely an area that he won't have experienced that intensity and the expectation, but I fully believe that he will come in and be a real success.
Derek McInnes has 6 new players in time for pre-season, and talks continue with Lawrence Shankland over a return to Tynecastle. And with more transfer business to be concluded, former Hearts captain and head coach Naismith says the new man in charge is well equipped to get the right men in.
When I was in the role hearing about Jamestown coming in, it's a massive positive. In this day and age where every transfer is a risk, if you can minimise that risk to the detail that they can at Jamestown, then I'm pretty certain they'll get more transfers right than wrong. And for any manager, you do want the signings in as quick as you can, and they've managed to do that.
Jamie Borthwick, STV Sport.
Finally tonight, he's the hottest prospect in Scottish football, but the question on many people's lips is, where will Lennon Miller play his football next season? Well, according to his father Lee Miller, it's exciting but nervous times ahead for the 18-year-old, who he says has big decisions to make about his future.
Miller steps up and scores!
He's had a meteoric Motherwell rise, and now Lennon Miller is tipped to reach the very top. The teenager has become captain of the Steelmen, swept the board in terms of Young Player of the Year awards, and most recently made his debut for Scotland. Now, with many clubs, both at home and abroad, interested in the teenager, the man closest to him says his next transfer is crucial.
There's always massive decisions to make, and Lennon's next move is so important because a lot of players will get sucked into going to just a massive club and going, right, I've arrived, I've went. But there needs to be a lot of thought process, and there has been a lot of thought process of his next move because it's a development move again.
New Motherwell manager Jean Bel Esco admitted he's planning for life without the midfielder as he takes the reins at Fir Park. The Lanarkshire club rejected a number of bids for Miller in January, although no concrete offers have been received so far this summer.
The clubs have been after Lennon since he was 14. There's always been talk and people try to take him here, there and everywhere, but we've always had a focus on, no, you'll stay at Motherwell, you'll do your time and you'll see where it takes you from there. So it's exciting times, but it's also really nervous times, and it's like you want to make the right decision, give him the best advice going forward, but ultimately it's his decision at the end of the day.
Miller is yet to return to Motherwell after being given extra time off due to his international commitments.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
And just like that, the new season's back. I saw you, by the way, he was laughing the whole way through sport at the joke at the beginning, by the way. Out of 10?
10, I mean, I'm not even sure I can mark that. That wasn't even funny when I was at school, but there you go. Anyway.
Have a great weekend, folks. We'll be back next week.
No, please, no. Will the Scorchio conditions last? Well, here's Philip with a look at the weekend forecast.
Outbreaks of ancient sites will gradually settle into an evening of pizza plates al fresco. TUI sponsors STV weather.
Well, the scorching conditions do look set to continue into tomorrow, at least for the first half of the weekend. Come Sunday, though, all change. It will be turning cooler, and we've got a band of rain moving in, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Why have we seen the hot conditions lately? Well, we're in a southerly airflow dragging in warmer air. But also need to remember that tomorrow is the summer solstice, so the sun is currently at its strongest. Back to just now though, and as we head into the overnight period, for many of us remaining fine, dry and settled overnight, we will see lengthy clear spells. So where we've got the clear skies, could see some mist and fog patches forming. Temperature wise though, not dropping too far overnight, so a bit of an uncomfortable night to come for many of us. Lows for the likes of Glasgow and Ayrshire around 17 or 18 degrees Celsius. Looking ahead to Saturday, a bit of a murky start to the day in the east. Elsewhere, a brighter and sunnier start for many of us. Remaining fine and dry throughout the course of the afternoon. Later on towards tomorrow evening, we could just see one or two heavy, isolated showers moving in from the south. Tomorrow, there is more of a breeze around, so with the winds, it will take the edge off the temperatures, highs of around 27 degrees Celsius. For this time of year, the average is around 15 or 16. Looking ahead to Sunday, we've got this band of quite heavy rain moving in from the west early Sunday morning, and it will be feeling cooler with highs of 20. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV weather.
Just sometimes wish they didn't look ahead, then we wouldn't need to know about the rain that's coming. Anyway, enjoy the sunshine while it's here from all of us. Thanks for coming in from the sunshine, watching the STV News. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great weekend.